Welcome dear all. Now in the earlier classes we have studied about the primary and the secondary sources, which gives us the information about from where the modern history started up and how it prevailed in during those times. We also studied about what are the primary sources and what are the secondary sources. A short recap we will be doing. Primary sources are those resources or sources that are witnessed by those people who are writing about it and it is witnessing it. And secondary sources are those sources which are like taken from someone else and then it is republished again. In that very first one we have also seen about books, newspapers and magazines, wherein we looked into about that printing press was invented in Germany in the 15th century and it came into use in India in the 18th century. So it was like 3 centuries later we had used this. This resulted in the mass printing of books, and because of this only mass printing of books was prevailing, where important information of historians today were captured. Now books were printed in English and in various regional languages also. Many biographies of great people were written. Biographies were written about great people which gave the information regarding them and regarding how they were ruling over here in India. Then the second source of information, which is the secondary information, is the government documents. British officials were very particular about keeping proper records of all official transactions, because each and every transactions done during the period where British were ruling in India, they used to write it or they used to have an official document wherein each and everything was having a proper record. So government orders, acts and other important decisions of the government had to be meticulously recorded. So therefore whatever they were doing as a transaction, they were recording it. Hence historians had a rich fund of official British documents, official letters and correspondence, survey maps, district gadgets and census records referred to. So what all they had were, historians had a rich fund of official British documents as well as official letters, district gadgets and the census that were taking every year or every 5 years were referred to. Now many of these documents are now preserved in the National Archives of India. Very important line. Where are these documents preserved now? These are preserved in the National Archives of India and other one in the National Museum, New Delhi. So it is in National Archives of India at National Museum, New Delhi. Government museums in Chennai, Mumbai and Calcutta also possesses original documents at that time, like the writers written by Jawaharlal Nehru and Mahatma Gandhi. So even Jawaharlal Nehru and Mahatma Gandhi has written some of the letters which are telling us about the modern time period and how Britishers used to rule in our country. So through these documents or by referring these documents, we can come to know about the modern time period and also we can have an idea about how the ruling was done in those times. Other one is historical buildings. Now another resource or source from which we can come to know about those time period are historical buildings, because buildings also too gives us an information. The British built several buildings during 200 years rule in India, some of which are still fairly were preserved. Some are in fact still in use. They represent style very different form that were preferred by the medieval rulers of India. Now in 7th standard we have already seen about the medieval architecture, different styles of temples like Dravidian style, South Indian style, Nagara style, Dravidian style. So these were the different style. Each and every ruler used to have their own style, a unique feature to modify a structure and to present it in public. So those people were presenting them and those rulers represented their history. Some of them were built to mark some important events of that time. For example, the imposing Gateway of India was built to commemorate the visit of King George and Queen Mary to Bombay in 1911. So this is again a very important one, that in 1911 King George III and Queen Mary had visited India, and to commemorate them the Gateway of India was built, which still stands there. So these are some of the sources which are secondary sources of information. Now below there is a picture of the Victoria Memorial, Calcutta. It's a magnificent white marble building set up in memory of Queen Victoria, who died in 1901 January. built between 1906 and 1921. This monument serves as both a mausoleum and a museum to house artifacts belonging to the British rule. So they have given you one example over here. You might be having books at home. Please refer this chapter again. And those who have already referred the chapter again, I will be sending you notes for your reference. Thank you.